Okay, let's dive in. Today we're doing a deep dive into how the source material interprets the first four seals from Revelation, chapter 6. And the core metaphor they use is pretty stark, isn't it? This world is the Titanic, having struck an iceberg and taking on water.
It really is. And that analogy, well, it's central. The sources are saying these seals show the reality of life, from John's time right up to the end. It's this idea of a world kind of driven by greed, which means it's heading for decline, not getting better.
Okay, but I have to push back a bit there. Based on what the sources say, I mean, look at medical progress, maybe fewer huge global wars than, say, the last century. How does that grim Titanic idea hold up?
Well, the sources frame it differently. They see the decline as an unavoidable chain reaction. It starts with that root issue, greed. That's what cancels out the progress, The first seal kicks it off, this relentless drive for monopoly, for control, conquering, and then conquering some more.
Ah, okay. And the direct result of that ambition, that's the second seal. If everyone wants total control, you end up with no peace, just conflict and slaughter for anyone who gets in the way.
Exactly. And that kind of instability, plus the sheer cost of all that fighting, it leads straight to the third seal. Economic collapse.
Yeah.
But not just like a market dip. It's this huge gap opening up between the wealthy few and everyone else.
Yeah.
A real struggle just for food.
So it's a spiral. Greed fuels violence. Violence creates scarcity. And that's accelerating. Which brings us to the fourth seal breaking. This is where it gets, well, really intense in the source material.
Oh, absolutely. It shows the pale horse. The color is often described as like corpse-like. And the rider's name is Death, with Hades right behind him. And the power this rider gets, it's terrifying. Authority caused death over a quarter of the earth. Think about that.
A quarter. And how? The sources list four ways, right? Swords, war.
Yep, war. Then famine, which is hunger.
Then wild beasts of the earth, which sounds ancient, but maybe implies, what, vulnerability after society breaks down, or even literal animals?
It reflects that vulnerability, yeah. And the last one is just called death.
But the sources define that death more specifically.
They do. As pestilence.
Yeah.
Or, malignant infectious disease, think plagues, pandemics. The sources actually connect this ancient idea to historical events, like the Antonine Plague, the Black Death wiped out a third of Europe, that one. They even mention the Donggi Bogum, that old Korean medical text talking about group infectious fever. It's a recurring pattern.
And they bring it right up to modern times. The 1918 Spanish flu, 50 million dead. And more recently, well, COVID-19, hundreds of millions infected, millions dead.
Right. And the insight here, which is quite chilling, is that with modern travel, dense cities, that 14-death scenario from pestilence is maybe more likely now, not less. Combine that potential with war and famine. It really drives home that Titanic metaphor. The ship isn't just listing. It's actively heading towards disaster, towards what the text calls the Great Tribulation.
Okay, so if the world is sinking, if this decline driven by greed is, well, inevitable, according to these sources, then they ask this really challenging question. What's the point of, trying to get a better cabin on the Titanic, or focusing on luxury, or winning money? It seems futile if the whole system is doomed.
That's exactly the point they make. If sin means the ship itself can't be fixed, can't be renovated, then the focus shouldn't be on finding some special escape hatch on board. The hope has to be somewhere else, eternal, realizing this world, this sinking ship, isn't your ultimate home.
So then what's the alternative? The sources talk about the duty of a believer being holiness, defined as being separated from the world, following God's values, not the world's system of greed.
Right. It's about shunning sin, obedience, not just living for your own immediate satisfaction. It directly challenges that you only live once, or YOLO idea, if YOLO just means grab all you can now.
Which leads us to the final thought they leave us with, pulling from Ecclesiastes. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, but know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment.
That truth you do only live once is real. But the challenge from the sources is, where does that lead you? Does it lead to just chasing temporary pleasures on a sinking ship? Or does it lead to living like someone whose real citizenship is eternal in heaven, knowing that, yes, judgment is coming?
It really makes you think, if the Titanic has hit the iceberg, where are you placing your hope? Where is your focus?